You are here because life feels fine. But you are done with fine. You know you are made for more. And you've asked, is this it? Too many times now. This isn't just another episode. This is your permission slip to turn fine back into fire. We're Charlotte and Kat, coaches through and through, but more importantly, real women who've been there. We help women come home to themselves and create a life that feels exciting, energizing, and completely their own again. Around here, we get real conversations, real stories, and real transformations from the women in our community who dared to go all in. If you're ready to stop existing, to stop settling for fine, and to start truly living, welcome home. Hello. Hi, Andrea. Oh my goodness, we are so excited to have this conversation with you. I feel like this has been much anticipated. Like, we have been wanting to do this for a while, and I truly believe in divine timing, and this is when it's meant to be. And with you sat here in your branded clothes, amazing. So hello, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you so much. Like you say, it's been a long time coming, but what a perfect example of moving, like, from talking about something into action. Like, straight away. I feel like straight off the bat we're into making things happen.
Exactly.
It's brilliant. I feel so excited to be here, so thank you.
Thank you. No, we are so happy to have you and to have this conversation. And this is all about you. We want to really dig deep into your story, into the incredible journey that you've been on and that you are on, and obviously all that's coming next. So should we start with kind of just getting to know more about you for our listeners as well?
Absolutely. Well, I feel like we need a little pause first because I do have some gifts, because who doesn't love a gift? Who doesn't love a gift? So now, for those maybe people that don't know you both, this might give you a little insight, maybe just through my lens, but also hopefully it resonates with both of you. So you'll see I've got a little pin on which basically says that I'm scared but doing it anyway. There's a little naughty word in there as well. But and I don't know where we're at with swearing yet, so we'll not do it too early.
It's totally cool.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I just think if my mother listens to this, she wouldn't want me to swear too early.
Do you know, I won't lie, when I swore on social media, my dad thought I'd been hacked.
Is this really you? Yeah, because you're not really the sweary type.
No, and he was like, are you sure your social media is okay? I was like, yeah, no, it's fine. So let's go for it.
So I feel like this is reflective of that story, and I'm sure you might tell that story again. But I just love these little pins. It's just a gift company. They couldn't give me any freebies, but maybe they might send me a few. But I just love these. I gift these to people that I just think would love them, and I adore them. So this one's for you, and you can decide if you want to read it or not.
Fuck this shit. I absolutely love it. It's a double whammy as well. I love that.
So
love it.
Yeah, I just think and I know you've got children, so you might not be able to wear it, but you can have it tucked away somewhere.
Yeah.
Or pinned somewhere when you feel like you need to pull that out.
Yeah, I love it. Do you know what, that for me is just next level though, because and for me that symbolizes, it's the perfectionism. It's those things that have held me back that fuck that, we're moving.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Love it. And okay, so I've got that one right. Good.
There we go. Thank you.
So this one's, I just think this captures you as well. And I thought it would be lovely. And for me, it's like just pull up those big girl pants and march into the chaos like you own it. So
oh my gosh, yes, a big girl pants, bring it on. Yes.
You're so welcome.
And it's sparkly, so it's like my sparkly pants.
Oh, it is like your sparkly pants.
Oh yes, your sparkly pants.
Oh, and you've actually got pants on.
They're so cute. They're so
Thanks
cute.
a lot. Thank you.
And then I also love to gift this beautiful book. You've probably heard of Donna Ashworth. She's just like her journaling prompts, and I'm sure we'll talk about journaling and how that helps, and certainly how it helped me. But I just love her poems and her work, and you might already have it, but it doesn't matter. But there's a little message on the inside. You don't need to read that now, but these are both
you.
you. Just make sure I've got it right.
Oh my gosh,
thank
you.
And I thought I might kick off, if I can, with, because when I was reading through them, I just found something that I think kind of captured maybe what we're going to talk about today.
Oh, please
do.
Gosh,
okay. So it's not too long, but so bear with.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's called One Day. One day, an army of ferocious older women might just take over this world, and I want to be there at the front. Because one day, every woman wakes up and realizes that, quite frankly, they've put themselves through hell, trying to fit in, trying to be enough, to be attractive, to be acceptable, to be responsible, to be reliable, to be a mother, to be a wife, a friend, a carer, to hold a career, and to keep it all spinning effortlessly. And in a flash, years and years of back-breaking conformity whizzes before your eyes, and you have a light bulb moment. It was never going to happen. We could never have done it all, for it's not possible, and no man could do it either, not a chance. Women of this world, beautiful, wonderful women, let that light bulb go on sooner rather than later, because when it does, you will be free. Free to live, free to mess up, free to take breaks and make mistakes. Free to pass over on the list of things you should be doing, to understand that whatever you did today was enough. You are enough. One day, an army of ferocious older women might just take over the world, and I want to be right there at the front.
Oh.
How good is that?
Amazing.
So,
We're only 3 minutes in.
And that you are enough is massive, isn't it? And it's something like we've talked about on my journey. I made you cry.
Is that on your agenda?
No, not at all. But I think, and you know, I love reading, and I'll reference a few books as we go through. That's kind of like my thing, because you know, none of us invented all of this, but we're like really beautiful, like collectors and connectors, aren't we, of ideas? And that's what I love, to be able to share something with someone else, or hopefully share my story today. There'll be someone listening that just either likes the sound of it, or connects with it, or finds a bit of comfort, I guess, from it.
Exactly.
So I guess jump into the story.
Gosh, thank you so much for kicking off in that way. That has touched us both, and what incredible words. And yes to being part of that Ferocious Women crew, right?
Love it. Yeah.
I'm all in.
Right,
we're all in. We're all in.
Yeah, definitely.
Love it. So let's dive in then. So tell us, for our audience, tell us a bit about yourself. Who are you?
Oh gosh.
Tell us. It's a big question, isn't it? It's a big question to kick off.
How long have we got?
Yeah.
I guess you've used the phrase already, like that perfectionistic tendencies, that people pleaser. And do you know what? For a long time that served me really well, but until it didn't. You know, I had a lot of brilliant opportunities, like in my childhood, growing up, and actually my mum and dad, they used to use the phrase like, you are the best. And I know it was planted and framed in a really positive way, but it probably, the bit I added on to that was, and you need to keep being the best. So that absolutely wasn't them. It was never their intention, but it planted that seed, like, how do I keep being the best? How do I keep raising the bar? How do I keep managing those, I guess, expectations, standards, whatever it might be? And, you know, I grew up in Northern Ireland, as you can probably tell from the accent. I've actually lived away longer than I lived there, but I was the first in my family to leave and to go to university. To do a master's. So I'm a sports psychologist, I'm a licensed psychologist. I wasn't the first to get my PhD. My brother pipped me to that, which that's his little one up. But no, you know, so there was a lot of achievement, but in a good way. Like I don't think any of that really had a negative impact until I got to the stage, and a lot of my story today is about, I guess, a journey of what became burnout, and kind of how I had to then navigate that a little bit. And so today's very much about, hopefully somebody might realize that. And I guess I didn't have to hit, or I don't think I hit what some people might call a rock bottom. Like, you don't have to be at rock bottom for it to not be enough.
Yeah.
But I certainly feel like it was probably my rock bottom.
Yeah.
And that kind of started, I guess, you know, my wife and I, we did all the big things. We got married, we bought a house, and then we went on a wild and wonderful IVF journey, which is probably a completely different, you know, podcast. But that all of those things happened, and then I was able to carry our son, and he was born in 2019. And then COVID hit. So I went on maternity leave. I was really career driven. I was like, I'm having 3 months, 6 months max. And then he came along and something shifted, you know, perspective shifted. Something became about more than me. And then, yes, like I said, COVID hit. So I went from having an 8-month-old right as lockdown started, and feeling a little bit, I guess, probably robbed of my maternity leave. So I ended up having a year. But then I was like, 8 to 12 months, I was like everybody else. And absolutely, people had to go through things that were an awful lot worse. And, you know, so my story is nothing like what some people had to endure during that time at COVID and losing people that they were close to. But that was probably one of the first sort of shifts for me, that I was like, I felt a bit bitter, and I also felt like, is this it? Like, is there more? And I guess that's kind of where it all sort of started. And then I went back to work, July 2020, and sort of then through to September 23. So like quite sort of 2.5 years or so. And I was like, I need to catch up. I've been out of the workplace for a year, and I need to get back up there. Pressure. And I was slowly, the ship was still sailing, but I was not on course. And by not being on course, I felt like what I was doing and the way that I was operating was not aligned to, you know, my authentic self. I just felt like, oh, this isn't really me. And it's quite uncomfortable to say now, but I think that's part of the journey. You know, I don't think I really showed up in a particularly good way. You know, I definitely wasn't the best version of myself. I was trying to spin too many plates and probably not doing, probably to other people doing a okay, fine job, but it wasn't right. And I just sort of thought, yeah, okay, something needs to change. So yeah, and I think that's really important to note, that again, you don't have to hit a rock bottom. Plus, you know, the environment that you're operating in doesn't have to be like really bad or really toxic, because it absolutely wasn't. But it was me that just felt like I was being pulled in a different kind of direction, and getting really tired, really like losing my patience, being really snappy at home, not being present, always looking for what's next. And then, you know, it was Rachel, my wife, that said to me, this isn't right, you know, you're not right. And I was like, no, that's fine, it'll get better, it'll calm down. And then it didn't. And yeah, it was at that point she was like, right, what do you want to do about it, and how can I support you? Because like, we know the journey, the person has to be ready, you know, to kind of want to step into something different. So I recognized then, it was actually January, start of 2023, that I actually was like, okay, I've hit burnout. I'm not, you know, in a good place. And I think at that point then, I felt so many different emotions, because I'm a psychologist, right? I work with athletes and coaches, and we look for burnout, and we know the symptoms to look for, and we make sure that they're not overtraining and they've got good recovery strategies. And so then I felt like, how have I missed this? So then I was frustrated, I was upset, I was like, how have I let something like that happen, you know, to me? And actually, there's a really nice little quote that sort of captures that. So I might read that to you. That's okay. Yeah. Okay. So it's over there. That's okay. Okay, grab it. No, you might need to pause that a little bit.
Please do.
Okay. But yeah, it just kind of captures it. I'll make sure I get to it. So look at this.
It's so relatable. I think it's. I love what you said about you don't have to be at rock bottom.
No. And actually, I would love for anybody listening to think that if you're already sensing some of this and feeling some of this, then just pause. Like, just pause.
Yeah.
Because sometimes plowing on through and keeping on going, actually, you know, it's okay to sit. It's better to sit still.
Yes.
And like, you know, just sit in the mud with it. You know, just sit in the mud and get someone in there with you. You know, no, I don't want someone telling me to get out. Just sit in it. Like, just be there.
Yeah.
Whereas I was like trying to swim through it and, you know, whatever else. But this little quote, it's actually taken, so a lot of, obviously being a psychologist, I'm in touch with scientific research and everything else. So this just jumped out at me, and it's actually from sports psychology research. And it's it's a nice analogy for burnout. So we often refer to the flame of a candle when characterizing burnout. What makes a candle that once burned bright come to flicker or be extinguished? To understand this, we must not only capture how the individual leaves the candle idle or blows on it, but how others do the same. So if the candle resides in an oxygen-rich or starved space, and if the flame must contend with relatively gentle or more extreme drafts. So, like for me, I felt like the candle was out, you know. You know when you've been lighting a candle and then the wick as well, like goes down deeper. I felt like I was, you know, I was really there. So I just felt like, okay, something needs to change. Something needs to change. So, like say, January 23, thought, okay, pause. And probably the next 5 months or so were, I was just sort of recovering from probably the recognition that I was burnt out, dealing with the emotions of it. And that's when I came across this book. So I think we should put some of these in the show notes if you want, and we can
absolutely
send them towards the membership in the community that are listening. So it's by Emily Nagotsky, and it's called Burnout, Solve Your Stress Cycle. And it gave me, I guess, just a bit of a language to connect with. So although I knew all of this with a psychologist hat on, you know, when it comes to yourself and finding relatable language and examples and ideas, I like that really helped. But yeah, it was like that was uncomfortable. And that links to this other book by Dr. Nicola Lepera. It's called How to Do the Work. She's a clinical psychologist and similar kind of idea in terms of burnout. And she was like, why didn't I see it coming? Like, I should be able to see that. And when I read that, I thought, okay, it's not just me. I'm not on my own. So yeah, I spent probably about 5 months or so just sitting with that, connecting with it, started journaling, started to read a little bit more, but it gave me a bit of breathing space, I guess, as well. And then I decided I wanted something more. I wanted a little bit more. So yeah,
amazing.
I could just keep going.
Yeah, you got me hooked.
I know,
Okay.
literally.
Just tell me to be quiet.
Can I before we move on, because I think what you said about that pause is just really important, because one thing that I noticed in myself is sometimes without that pause, like I went full into self-development and overconsumed. And actually that was because I'd not taken that pause. And I think that's such an important thing to note that you've said there, because we don't want to then burn out in something else when we're on that cycle of it, right? And actually that pause and just sitting in that mud just for a minute and just going, I can breathe here. That's what's really important, right?
As you know, and through the Authentic Girls Club, some of that work's really uncomfortable. And, you know, I would have started bits and then gone, oh no, I don't like what this is bringing up. Like, why am I so, you know, we'll get into when I joined you in a bit, but there were days when I'd be on our weekly calls or at the retreats. I was really emotional. And, you know, that was the uncomfortable bit, but that's where I guess the growth happens. And again, even if people are starting that journey, pause at any time, because you're right, it can sort of get away from you a little bit, but there's no timeline.
No.
You know, on something like that. And I'm still doing so much work. Like nobody has that all sorted.
It never ends.
No,
ever.
It's lifelong, it really is.
Yeah.
And on the pause, I just love that repositioning of it, because I think sometimes we may feel that we're stuck. You spoke about being in the mud. You know, it can feel like you're stuck in the mud, like you're not going anywhere. But actually that shift to seeing it as the pause, becomes more intentional then, doesn't it? And you're giving yourself, your mind, that time and that space to kind of just reconnect, realign, and come back to self. So I love that.
Yeah, and just let the world around you stop spinning a little bit as well, isn't it? And I think I'd used an analogy with you before about I felt like I was treading water. And again, that was probably framed in quite a negative light because I wasn't going anywhere. But on reflection, you tread water when you need to just, you can't put your feet down because it's too deep, but you just need to tread water. You need to come up, you need to check your surroundings, you need to gather your breath, and then decide what direction you're going to go into next. So again, like
that's the shift, isn't it? Back to being more, seeing it as a positive. So if you feel like you're treading water, like see that as this is your body's way of saying just pause. And you can go in a different direction. You know? So
power of the pause.
The power of the pause.
That's always good to say on my accent. Power of the pause. So I had a chance to pause, and then it was May 23. I decided I want more. I'm going to take a day from my working week and dedicate it to something else. Now I appreciate that. You know, financially, that's always the biggest fear, or it can be quite a big driver, can't it? And I thought, had conversations with my wife and family, and we were like, what do we need to do? And it was Rachel actually that said, you're worried about the cost potentially now of shifting, but what's the price of staying where you are? And I was like, okay. So, we were in a position where having it still working in a different environment 4 days a week, still had, that stability, still had the enjoyment and the interactions and everything that went with it. But it just gave me that little bit of breathing space to say, oh, I could do something else with this. And that's when I started to reconnect with working with athletes and coaches again. And that, by the very nature of it, means you have to shine a spotlight on yourself, because how you show up with your athletes, with your coaches, with people that you work with is, it's interlinked. You need to understand who you are, your values, your beliefs, be aligned to give the best version. And I don't think it's a coincidence that I'd moved away from that sort of thing in the years prior. And then I started to reconnect. And I, like I say, I've got my healthcare professional council registration. I reconnected with the CPD. I started to read more in that area and got the chance to work back in a professional cricket environment, which is wonderful. And that was the shift that I was like, okay, I can do these things. And that was great. And it was the same time, so then around September 23, that I discovered the Authentic Girls Club. And I think that's when I tiptoed around, didn't I, for a little while. And I think it was probably because I started doing all that work, and it was okay on my own, and I didn't need to be accountable. I didn't need to say any of it out loud. So if I got emotional about it, I could just be like, oh, and do something else. So I think it was some of that uncomfortableness that sort of delayed me jumping in and going all in, which I then did in April of 24. So I've been with you guys for about 16 months.
That's amazing.
And it's been brilliant. And I love that you never put any pressure on me. You just said, we're still here. We're going to be here. When you're ready, you're ready. Dip your toe in or go all in. And then I was like, I'm going all in. And I went all in.
You did.
I went all in. And it's been absolutely brilliant. And I think that's maybe reassuring for other people if you're like, oh, I would really like to get involved, but I don't know if it's too much or it's too, as it from an emotional point of view, or, it's shining that spotlight.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great. And it's like-minded women. We were there to help each other, to share stories, to connect, to signpost things, and just to listen as well. I think that's something that's sometimes missing, like for me personally as a sports psychologist. We've got our friends and our family, but they've always got that emotional investment with you. And particularly as a psych, you're taking on other people's emotions, and you need to be really good about, obviously you can't share that with other people, but you need to have that good self-care. And I was pretty poor at that, if I'm being honest. And all of those things probably stacked up as well to make me not the best version. So then I joined TAGC, and it's been brilliant. It's been absolutely brilliant.
Amazing.
Oh, I was going to had a question. I'd love to know more about it, because I think that what you said is really important. It kind of, there is a leap, right, to join something like that. And I wonder, what do you think, if we could dig deep more into that leap, because I think it's so, I don't know for me, it was investing in myself, and it was also putting myself first. And both felt like such a big punt, when you're like, I'd love to get your take on that a little bit more, of what was kind of maybe the resistance there initially.
No, I think it's a great question. I think you're right. As women, we think self-care is selfish. We think prioritizing ourselves shouldn't happen. But for me, it was about, if I'm not showing up as my best self in any area of my life, then I'm not giving my best anywhere. So I'm not being the best mum, the best wife, the best friend, the best, in my job. So what's the one common denominator? And it's me, it's you, it's, and if you get that bit right, we talk about a ripple effect, don't we? Then you do show up more mindfully. You do consider things a little bit more. You start to feel less selfish. Like Rachel knew straight away when I'd been on calls with you guys, because I was so much more grateful. I had energy. It's the little things, setting the intentions. And my intention was always, just go and be grateful for what is right here. And then it builds. So I think it's probably getting, like, who better to invest in than yourself? Like you only get one version of you. You can cover it with nice clothes or cars or whatever, and gym memberships or whatever. But actually it's like, you have to live with you. And if you can make that a better place, whatever better is, to make you feel like you're bringing the best version of you, then like that is genuinely priceless. And I think you grow, right? You grow from there.
And I think that's just maybe what's kind of missing in society, because I think, like, sometimes with the work, the inner work, and there seems to be a little bit of negative connotation to it sometimes, and that it's deep and it's heavy, and I know one of the things that kind of we like to bring to the table is that it gets to be fun, and it gets to be a way of women connecting as well. And I think showing up with that vulnerability and just sharing how you feel and knowing you're not alone, right? Like, we can all do this work individually, but then together it just brings that new element of, oh, you felt that, I felt that, and it kind
connects those dots, doesn't it? You feel less alone, and then you can build from there. It's that the army of
voracious women. Exactly.
So it's going to be brilliant. So, but I think there still is, you're right, that negative sort of connotation around doing the work, and it's okay for it to be uncomfortable, but like you say, there's times when it gets really good and you feel like energized from it, and then there's times when you're like, oh, that's quite heavy.
Of course.
And that's the time where we'll just pause. Lean into that. Like, why are those feelings showing up? Like, lean into it with curiosity rather than running away from it. And I ran away from it, and it came out emotionally, and I'd have to turn my camera off and be like, what's going on? And then I was like, okay, well, why is this showing up? And then starting to journal, starting to make sense of it, trying to, I guess, unpack it a little bit. And I don't think you never like fully unpack it all, but you might unpack a little bit and then go, oh, okay. And then you get a bit of relief.
Yeah.
And then you might not need to go there again, but then you might go, oh, there's something still showing up. And what's that trying to tell me?
Yeah.
Rather than just sort of blindly carrying on.
Yeah.
You know?
It's that awareness part, isn't it?
Yeah.
That self-awareness is really, it really is the fuel to change and transformation, because what we're not aware of, we can't change. So we're bringing that awareness within, aren't we? And really understand, like you said, understanding ourselves better. And we spend 24/7 with ourselves. Do best to know ourselves.
Make it a good place.
Yeah. Like we talk about that, like, you know, I'll say with some of my athletes, particularly young female athletes, like, would you rather be, I can't remember which book this is from, but, you know, would you rather be locked in a room with the high school bully or with your best friend? And of course you're going to say your best friend. So, like, talk to yourself like you're your best friend. Like, this inner critic is not serving you well. You know, and that's a question I'll pose. So how's that working out for you? More often than not, it's not working out that well. Okay, so lean into it and take, even if it's small but messy, you know, steps to change it. Even just having that awareness in the first place, like you say, is the first step.
Definitely. The quote that really got me in the beginning of my journey on that was Louise Hay, and she said, you've been criticizing yourself for years and it hasn't worked. Try approving of yourself and see what happens.
Love it.
And for me, that just opened a door of going, no, that's not working for me at all. Like, what is possible if I do the opposite? And a lot it turns out.
And even when you invited me to come here today, there was still the inner critic. What have I got to share? Who's going to even care? And then I was like, but what if it's wonderful?
Yes.
You know, and you have to go, well, what if it's wonderful?
Yeah.
And if somebody listens to it and loves it, great. If they don't, that's fine. You know, it's like, okay. You know, but that, again, another shift, rather than, you know, I'm typically quite a pessimistic person, which is, you know, it's difficult as well. People are like, you seem so like positive. And I think I give that a lot. But then I sometimes don't think I leave enough of it in reserve for me.
Yeah.
So then I'm always like, what could go wrong? What if it's bad? What if I mess up? Instead of just saying, well, what if it's wonderful? And I guess that's maybe part of the wild and wonderful as well. Well, what if it's wonderful? What if it's wonderful?
That is an anchor thought right there, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that.
So I guess that probably gets me to joined TAGC in April, went to my first retreat in the May.
Yes.
And that like unlocked a few other things. And again, probably that community of people being face to face, like hearing it from other people, like it has a different feel to it, doesn't it? Rather than being, you know, on screens and things like that. But that really, connected different bits. And, you know, I kept going through that summer thinking, I want something, I want to keep going. So in the September then, so September 24, I decided to take another day out of my work and put it where I wanted to put it. So was slowly shifting the dial towards the direction that I wanted to go. And I got a great opportunity so I work with some great colleagues on, I'm basically a professional doctorate supervisor for NATO, which is amazing. Wow. So I get to work with these amazing men and women who do fantastic jobs and want to gain their, you know, professional doctorate as a result of it. And that was really exciting. And although it didn't feel like exactly what I wanted to do all the time, long term, make a business out of, because it wasn't, you know, it wasn't my business to lead. But I thought it's moving me in the, you know, it's starting to move the compass in the right direction. So I guess that's maybe a bit of reassurance as well. Whatever the next step is, doesn't have to be the final step, and it doesn't have to be the most perfect step. As long as it's in the right direction,
or the right vicinity to move
just
forward,
like
isn't
it's
it?
a move,
it's exactly in the right direction.
Exactly, and just navigating that a little bit. So that's then opened up probably more time to do and explore other things that were outside of what my world would have been, you know, previously. And then I did Dare to Dream, which was January 2025, so only like 6-7 months ago. I did my vision board. And on my vision board, there was, I am enough, which that's why that poem, resonated. But I am enough, picture of my family. And then it also had a compass. It had hills and lakes and the sea and a camper van and a puppy and journaling and some like money, and dream, something about daring to dream. And I thought, right, I need to push this somewhere else. And that's where I got to Wild and Wonderful Minds. So, and like, so
I'm literally like sea, hills, mountains.
So as a sports psychologist, so I guess the main thing for me is, I'm inspired by wild and wonderful people, by people that want to achieve personal, like physical challenges, sporting challenges. And sports psychology isn't really accessible to the everyday person. So yes, I get to work with elite athletes. That's fine. But I was like, we need to debunk this myth, don't we, that sports psychology is just for elite athletes.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to create something that meant it was accessible to other people. It would help them develop like their growth mindset. I could support them on that journey of, I guess, supercharging their mind to help support their physical performance. Yes. And in the spaces I was operating in, so I'd started on this journey to cold plunge, to open water swim, to sauna, to do some more of that self-care stuff. So I was in environments where I was hearing everyday people, particularly women, saying, oh, but sports psychology is not for people like me. Like I'm doing a lake swim, or I'm doing a half marathon or a 10K or whatever it is. What would you be able to help me? And I was like, yes, absolutely. So I launched Wild and Wonderful Minds, literally. So that was like start of February. So it's still really new. I'm still building my, my platform. I've only got a couple of hundred people following me, but that's fine.
That's incredible.
But you started.
I've started.
And you did it.
Again, I could be like that. That might hold some people back. Yeah. And I was even looking at some of the other guests, and they've got thousands of followers. And I was like, yeah, but you got to start somewhere.
Yeah, and as well, I love this when you think about that. Like, imagine 200 people in a room.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
That is a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people. Exactly. And it's about the impact, and that's everything. Yeah. So, wow, that's amazing. Yeah. And I literally love that was not long after Dare to Dream.
Yeah, like 2 weeks.
Oh,
I was just like, right, keep the momentum. Let's just go with this.
Yeah.
So, I got like an Instagram account. I put together some a bit of a logo, which isn't this logo, which is lovely now, but it was just something, just get started, just post, just like start getting out there.
Amazing.
And one of the ladies that I swim with, I gifted her to the women as well. And I'd found a poem that I thought was really reflective of a time and a place that she was in. And I read it to her, and she was like, you've got such a nice voice, you should just read, and that's why I just started to read some of them and just signpost people, and it's grown from there. And one of my, I think the thing is, we all have this performance level that we want to achieve, and it doesn't matter what that level is. It's very individual. And if you want to do something, be it like say that half marathon or whatever it is, I've got people doing ultras. I've got one client that has done loads of marathons, and she's in her mid-50s, and it's like, oh, I want a different challenge. And she just did her first half Ironman.
Wow.
And she was like, like the help with the mindset and the preparation, and we get confidence from our competence, so it's helping somebody on that journey and then marrying it all up together. Another client of mine, she did a lake swim. So it was a 5.25 mile lake swim. And I asked her, like, what did you think did it help? Did what we do sort of help? And she was like, yeah, like you helped me achieve my goals, which for her was to be calm, focusing on herself and quieting the noise and just not crying. Like she said, I just want to actually get there and feel like I'm in a good place to do this. And I'm like, that's perfect. That is perfect for her. And she did that. And the way I view things is if I can help share those tools and techniques with somebody in that sporting or personal challenge context, then they can take those with them.
Exactly.
You know, they can use them in life, they can use them in business, they can use them with their next challenge. So yeah, and the fact that I get to do it, you know, the work that I do isn't in an office or in a clinical space. I get to do it by the lake. I get to do it like talking therapy, walking in the Malvern Hills. And just in those green and blue spaces, which we know that connects you, it helps you feel more aligned. And yeah, it's just a lovely way to operate. And
that's amazing.
It sounds like that vision board is coming to life.
Exactly. So the only things missing are the puppy and the camper van. So the puppy is coming. The puppy is coming. We are hoping that she'll be with us sort of Christmassy time. And if she's of a certain temperament, she might even be able to kind of be my little therapy dog. So, you know, the Lionesses, great recent success. They've got Reggie, their little therapy dog. So you never know, our little one might. And then the camper is, it's on the agenda still. And I think that's the other thing. You don't have to then get everything straight away. Like build. And it's quite exciting then to go, I still want to do that.
And it's feeling that connection to things. Because I certainly know I've done, and this is why we continue to do Dare to Dream regularly, because we fine tune things, and there's things that I've put on that maybe I've put on and I've gone, I actually don't resonate with that a few months in, and I've tweaked it and I've changed it and then got it back to where it needs to be. And I think it's that process, isn't it? And like you say, if we had it and just that was it, that would be we need to be working towards things, don't we, right? And continually evolve it. But wow, that is incredible to hear. That really, really is. And just totally celebrating you and all that you're doing, because wow, and to do it, and I think what a beautiful kind of, like you say, way of doing it in nature, and kind of having that personal goal of the fitness, the sporting kind of side of it is just incredible. And sounds like you've just brought all those strengths, all those things that energize you together, and that breeds energy, right?
Absolutely. And I think that's totally true. If it gives you energy, then you're in the right place. And I'm looking for something here, because I'd actually written that down. If something's right for you, it'll give you energy. And then don't you? It doesn't feel like work. It's enjoyable. It gives you that joy. And that's certainly where I'm at. So I've got a couple of retreats coming up. So keeping on the theme of wellness, working with a wonderful friend of mine. She's Claire Bastos. She's got a company called Movement & Co. She's a Pilates instructor. She's got a beautiful studio just in Broadway. And we're going to do a little bit of a mini retreat just to bring some of those women together. And it may be that one or two of those people are thinking, I want to do one of these challenges, or need a little bit of help. And again, it might not even be that that's the person who would want to work with me. And I think that's the power in something like TAGC, is that you go, but there's other people we can signpost you to. So they might actually need something that's a little bit more life coaching, or a little bit more business, but that community, you go, well, here you go, come in, and there's other people. And I think when people are open to collaborate and share, I think that's where the magic happens as well. It's less me and more we, isn't it? And absolutely. So got little retreat details are on my Instagram. Amazing. And hopefully do another one which will be in nature, so some lake swimming, some sauning, some journaling, and just obviously the merch,
loving the merch. Watching a video,
probably got a bit excited with the merch.
I love it.
I got 3 t-shirts made all for me, and I've sold one. It's fine. It's fine.
Good.
But I just thought it would be something that I would love to be able to share, give to my clients, and just they'll be at the retreats. And then who knows?
And do you know what? I feel like things like that, absolutely stand in the power of it. And only because it's making all that you're doing even more just, not that it's not real without that, but it's going, I'm here to do this. And I think it's also a declaration to yourself, right? That I sure know there've been things that we've kind of invested in over time, and it's yes, let's stand in the power of that. Let's go for it. So really celebrating that.
Love
It's like bring that vision to real.
Love it.
Absolutely.
And it absolutely has. It's been, the weekly wake up calls, having an opportunity for anybody that doesn't know, just to be able to come on to the call on a Monday morning. All of us, no makeup on, coffee in hand, just getting over that. It's all good.
Yeah.
But just celebrating what you have done. And I think that's really important, isn't it? Because we do default to the things I didn't get to do.
Yeah.
But what you have done and setting those intentions for the week ahead. And that's what, that for me started really slowly. Like it didn't have any of this in mind. It was all just how can I be more present, or how can I choose myself? How can I invest? I think actually my very first think better thought was I'm choosing to invest in myself, even if it feels uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So that was like 14th of April, 2024. That was the very first one.
Wow.
So when you talked about investing in yourself, and that felt like, it felt uncomfortable saying it because it felt like, oh, why am I putting myself first? But it shows then how you can then grow and show up.
Yeah.
And it's weird, isn't it? Because you'd probably, I would quite happily probably treat myself to something else, if it was a spa day or something, like it's something that you can explain. Whereas mine I probably could explain. It was joining at the time because I wanted to do this business idea, a business networking group for women. But I really struggled to explain that because I didn't really have the idea yet, explain it to anyone. And because I couldn't explain it, it felt really weird and I blocked myself so much. But you'd spend it on, I don't know, anything with ease that's not going to get you to where you want to go, which is bonkers when you think about it, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I think when you go through that journey, you get the clarity. So you start to go, oh, that's what it's about. And even coming on here, so it made me think, what is it that I'm trying to do? Like I kind of knew myself and I could sort of explain it a little bit, but I was like, it wasn't clear. It didn't have clarity. I needed to show how it was linked to my why, linked to my purpose, brought me joy. And then even just, having to put it on paper and then talk to you today, I was like, okay, And that's been the next step, actually going, all right, this is me. This is Wild and Wonderful Minds. Let's go. Let's see where it goes. So I'd love it if anybody's like curious, or even if they're like, I don't know if you would be able to help me, great. Just if you're I don't know if you'd be able to help me, just get in touch. We will chat. And I think that's what I love. You can just support somebody, signpost somebody, or full on do whatever they need to achieve their goals from a sporting or a physical activity perspective.
Absolutely. And obviously we'll put details in
details in the show notes for sure. I'd love to ask on that then, is there a vision for the future? I'm assuming there will be, for Wild and Wonderful Minds. What's on the horizon?
I guess I think the vision, so I guess if I start with the mission first, was to make it accessible and to debunk the idea that it was just for just for elite athletes. So that was always kind of the bigger mission, and to make it accessible and practical for anybody who had a sporting challenge or a goal in mind. And then I guess the vision was really to take it to the next stage in terms of creating a world where mindset is considered to be important for performance. It's not just an add-on. It's not just you have to have something wrong with your mindset to want to lean into it. It's needed. We are not just a head floating on a body, it's connected. So for me, it was, giving people access to that and recognizing that it's needed and offering people a chance to explore whatever that growth is, like for them, that ultimately to help their performance and to help them thrive in what is often quite a stressful sort of environment, if it's if it's an event or if it's a competition. So that's where I wanted to take it. And I guess I probably haven't downed out much more than that, but at least I feel like I've got a direction of travel. And I feel like my compass is, back
on course.
And I think that's really wonderful to hear you say as well, because I think we so often think of physical fitness, right? And I always love the phrase of mental fitness. And it's just not thought about, it is it? It's kind of almost the mindset, the mental side. Like, we've got to work on it as much as we'd work on our body to succeed, or like you say, to achieve a fitness goal or a challenge.
Absolutely.
And I just never knew that. Like, your mind just is.
Yeah. And you love moving, like we know, get up and have a bit of a dance. But it helps with the mindset shift. It helps connect those things. You know, if somebody isn't feeling confident going into something, they might be feeling underprepared or not competent at it. So it's like, how do we help them raise that confidence and that self-esteem and self-efficacy, the confidence in one particular thing?
Yeah.
And then, you know, dealing with things like setbacks. How do we build sort of mental resilience and create more capacity to deal with setbacks? You know, I've got clients previously who've maybe not finished a particular race, like an Ironman or something. And, you know, that can sort of evoke different emotions. For some people, it's like, right, I'm done, like I'm not good enough. And for others, and what I really love is rejection it's just data. So why? What was it that was missing? What was it that led to the, you know, it's not a failure. It just didn't work that time. So helping someone go, okay. And also, you know, people are, maybe you've been a really high performing athlete and there's a sense of loss and identity if you're not in that sporting world anymore. And they want to still achieve, but they might want to do, you know, like cycling or an ultra or Ironman. And it's like shifting their mindset into different things and helping them to find, like, what is success? Because success on a cricket, you know, in cricket can be runs and wickets. But actually at an Ironman, it's, you know, it's getting through 3 really tough disciplines in, you know, 14, 15, 16 hours. You know, it needs something different. So helping people recognize and me supporting them with, well, what would your definition of success be? Because it could be just, I just want to get to the start line and feel like I can do it.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
That's great.
So,
yeah, your definition of success. Yeah. And we often think of that as well with the enoughness. What is enough? Yeah. You know, what is success? What is enough? I think when we decide what that is for ourselves, and we're all so different with those things, we get to achieve it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing. Oh, this has been oh, sorry.
No, thank you. You see me loitering there. And what I was just going to reflect on is that how wonderful it is, the work that you do. It's obviously from the perspective of the sports. However, you touched on this earlier, it just ripples out in every aspect of life, doesn't it? And you spoke earlier about how the mindset is so important, and that's part of your mission. And then it just becomes a beautiful foundation, doesn't it? That you can apply it to whether your relationships, your communication, your career, all sorts of different areas of life. So I just thought I'd reflect on that. And what I'd also love to ask, just before we wrap up, is right at the start of our conversation, you said something which we talk about frequently. You said the feeling of, is this it? And we talk about the is this it era, which many women find themselves at this point, don't they? This kind of like, yeah, is this it? And so what I'd love to ask for our listeners is, what would you say to somebody that's listening that's maybe feeling like they're in this is this it era and kind of just going through the motions, just existing and not really thriving in life?
Yeah, absolutely. That feeling you're just surviving, isn't it? Surviving, not thriving. And I definitely felt that. And I listened to a great podcast recently. So it was Mel Robbins, who is amazing, but she interviewed Will Packer, who is a movie producer in Hollywood. And he talked about it, and I think the analogy is great. You know, movies are made up of 3 sort of parts, 3 acts. So act 1 is the hook, get you in, like the big actors, it's a rom-com, it's a horror, whatever it is. Act 2, you start to get invested in, you know, in the characters. But then act 3 is like where all the magic happens. And how you feel when you leave the movie is often everything that's happened in act 3. So what I would say to people is, you know, if you're feeling like that, you're not in your act 3. Like, we judge ourselves, and they talk about it beautifully in the podcast, but we judge ourselves on things that we've done in our act 1 and 2, but actually we just haven't got to our act 3 yet. So that just could be a really lovely question. Like, what could my act 3 be? Like, what would I want it to be? And the lovely thing is, if if it's not the ending that you want, you can change that ending, right? You write your own ending. You can change your narrative because you're not there yet. And you might have an act 4, 5, 6, that's fine. But, you know, you're not there yet. So maybe the question is, like, what would your act 3 look like?
I love that.
I love it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, so it's not it, is it?
No.
I mean, that is, you know, if we're asking, is this it? It's not. Like, there are more acts to come.
There are more acts to come.
And we get to write them.
Absolutely. I know. And when you posted about the chapters, I was like, oh, I've got a chapter here. It is. It's like, what chapter would come next? What would you want to happen next? Because you know, you're the author of your own story at the end of the day. So, and sometimes I'm guessing like this, the story is not just going to come to you. That's that pause idea. So don't then, you know, berate yourself for not knowing exactly what that's going to look like. It's like, okay, well, you know, what brings me joy? What am I curious about? What energizes me? And then you start to, you know, just start there. And I kind of came up with some little final messages as well, which I thought might be nice. So just begin. Like that very first one, we've talked about it. You don't need to have all your ducks in a row. You know, like I've got some ducks, a gaggle of geese and a few random pigeons and somebody's escaped parrot, but you know, they're there.
But they're there.
So just, you know, and then we talk about it, they're messy, imperfect, but just begin.
And it's the curiosity, like you said. The curiosity, it's the discovery, the exploration part. And that's when we get to shift to see it as it's exciting. Like what could happen next?
What could and what could be wonderful? What wild and wonderful idea could I come up with?
Yes, love it.
That notion that we talked about earlier, that rejection isn't failure, it's just data, like find out why. So I tried to do a triathlon mindset workshop. So none, you know, this all hasn't worked perfectly. One person signed up and I was like, okay, this isn't how I thought it was going to go. And probably old me would have got, oh, it's not good enough. That means there isn't an appetite for it. People don't want my, you know, don't want to work with me or have any, you know, have my services, if you like. But the one person that signed up, I said, I'm going to go and work with that one person. And that's the one individual that just did the half Ironman.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, okay. So, but then I also said, why didn't it work? So when I looked at it and took time to reflect on it, I didn't market it particularly well. I didn't probably explain, didn't have that clarity. Well, what would it actually be and who's it aimed at? And then I was like, oh, like they're simple things now, but then just use that information. So if you're facing, you know, any kind of setback, it's not a failure. It's just information.
Love that. I know that we have been there as well, everyone.
Yes. And we are still every day is a school day. And it's choosing to look at the data, because otherwise you could just push it to one side and go, I'm never doing that again.
You know, that was terrible. That's so embarrassing.
But we go, let's learn from this and what can we do differently next time?
100%. Find your purpose, like tap into that joy, that curiosity, lean into it, and just think why wouldn't it work? What could work, you know? If it feels scary, you know, just sprint towards it. And if it gives you energy, then you know. You know, people say, how will I know if it's the right thing? If it gives you energy and you just get that feedback, don't you? Like, yes, this is it. And you might get that for a bit and then, oh, have I come off course a bit? Do I need to pause, look at it again? That's fine. But if it gives you energy, I think, then it's absolutely for you.
It's the thing that gets you up in the morning, you get excited. So like it's Christmas Day, or like you're going on holiday feeling every morning. And that's the part that's accessible when you go on this exploration, you get back in alignment and see what brings you energy. You get to live it every day.
Definitely.
Amazing.
I love that.
Well, thank you so much. It's been, like we said, a long time coming, but divine timing. The gifts, thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. You can come again. Part 2. But thank you from the bottom of our hearts for being here, for sharing your story. We know it will inspire and empower those that listen in. We'll drop everything in the show notes as well, all your details, so you can find out more about Wild and Wonderful Minds. And just thank you so much. It's been amazing.
It's been wonderful. Thank you.
If this conversation lit something up inside of you, that's no accident. It's the spark of your next chapter. And that chapter starts now. We want to know, where are you at right now and where do you want to be? Come and tell us, DM us on Instagram at The Authentic Girls Club today, and let's talk about it, because when you say it out loud, you literally bring it to life. This is your moment. Don't wait for the perfect timing. Step in, be bold, and let's make it happen together.